Our first question of the day comes from Of Dragon and Meme. What is your favorite pairing to write about, and most importantly, which two characters found each other easiest through your writing? That's actually really kind of great. One of the things I really love about my characters and like pairing in general is that they're just so diverse. It's really fantastic. And I always tell people, if you ship my characters or you have your own ship with my characters, that's absolutely fine. I want you to have fun. I mean, this is a world for you. They're not real people, so feel free to do what you want to do as long as you're, like moderately respectful. That would be awesome. Um, it certainly doesn't hurt to ship one character with another, and it's not going to hurt my feelings or anything like that. I guess there's some pairings and I have to talk about them, but I'm gonna like kind of be vague because it might be a spoiler for some people. But I mean, I guess obviously the very first pairing we want to look at is Graydon and Lynn. I would say that they're probably my most long-standing relationship in the novel series, and they're really kind of a great couple. Their interactions are pretty wholesome, honestly. Graydon was not a people person. Graydon didn't think he'd ever be in a relationship. Graydon didn't think he'd have anything and, he'd die young. It didn't quite happen like that. And now that he's got Lynn, Lynn was instrumental in being the touchy-feely guy. And Graydon didn't know how to approach human relationships and touch and intimacy. That was just something that had never entered into his sphere of experience. So it was Lynn who taught him how, and probably Bryn indirectly being that stepdad that's not really a stepdad, that I don't think he ever wanted kids. He never thought this was going to happen, but now he's a stepdad. And so between Lynn and Bryn, he has really learned how to reach out and to be more emotionally available, which I think earlier in the series was something that you wouldn't see very much from him. He was very quiet. He kept it all to himself. So they're kind of a neat pairing. They really have a great dynamic and they're enjoyable to write. I just due to plot haven't gotten to write them together in this book, so it's a little bit of a bummer. But they still talk about each other, and you just get this feeling of this long-term relationship that's really become very strong over the years and through adversity. And I think that that's great. I think that's probably one of their main dynamics. And since the book is really about finding hope in hopelessness, finding purpose in purposelessness, to have a pairing like this really is the engine that drives the book. Even if I don't openly talk about it a lot. I feel like it's kind of a backbone that people don't realize. Bryn and Ty are kind of my growing pairing. I actually don't like them together that much yet, but again, that's because the characters are still growing. They're younger characters. They're new to relationships. They're new to their own freedoms and to their own developing personalities. So I think it's a pairing that's really sweet and it's kind of cute and a little bit sad in some ways because they're trying so hard to reach past, cultural barriers and to be together because they do like each other quite a lot and they do have a lot of chemistry, even if it's kind of like survivor chemistry. And one of the things that always nags at the back of my mind is, is one going to outgrow the other? Are they going to? Because I mean, they really got thrown together in a bad situation, and they're making that work, and that's really beautiful. But then I always have this deep down feeling like, are they not going to stay together? Are they? I mean, personally, just as a writer, and we'll see where it goes, but I think they really are going to grow together and they're going to be a very strong couple. But like right now, they're in that proto phase. I jokingly call it my link phase, where you're kind of just a blank slate, and there's so much to learn and experience and grow. Um, that it's going to take time. So that's one of those pairings that I feel like is growing. Um, Rose and Sarah, which you'll probably kind of catch the drift of in book two. Um, Rose and Sarah are really lovely. I think that they had the most unintentional chemistry. I didn't think. Like, I never really expected to pair Sarah with Rose. It just sort of happened. They gravitated towards each other. Um, Sarah's significantly older than Rose, but they're still meeting on a level that's really dynamic and awesome. So I'm looking forward to more between Rose and Sarah, and I think it's also a really great representation of a lesbian relationship that's healthy. It's not a love triangle, it's not dramatic, it's not tragic, it's not people profiting off queer and then dumping it in the bin. They're a really strong lesbian pairing, and I super, super love that about them. So again, I'm also really curious to see where it goes because, like I said, that was not a pairing that I had expected to go anywhere at all. Vixen Donovan, that is the everybody's favorite. And I love Vixen Donovan. They are the odd couple. They are the weird crew. I did not think that they would have chemistry at all. And again, they really surprised me. Like 5 minutes into the relationship, I went, oh, they're flirting. You're kidding. So I just kind of let the characters develop, and it's actually kind of become a fan favorite. And I love Vix and Donovan. Vix lives on Planet Vix, and Donovan has just got his own kind of sweet bad boy kind of vibe going on, like most rogues. And I kind of like that he's the most honest liar I've ever met, and I'm curious to see where that goes to. There's some big plot points coming up for those two. So we'll see how all of this goes, but I expect that they're probably going to stay together. They're just that way. Um, Lou and Severin are kind of really cool because they're kind of my ace neurotypical couple that really feels more like heterosexual life mates to me. And I think that that's another type of couple that doesn't get celebrated very often. It doesn't get talked about. The ace people, whether they're gray ace and they're interested in sex or not, or interested in romance or not, they still get into relationships. They are normal couples in relationships, and whether sex does or doesn't enter into the picture, attraction, etc., because ace is such an enormous spectrum. And Lou is so weird and kind of neuroatypical and kind of what you expect out of. I don't know. For some reason, to me, I always see Lou a little bit like Trelawney from Harry Potter. Like she's just really weird, really out there. Excuse me. You never know what's gonna happen with her. She has moments of absolute brilliance, and you're not sure if that's something that comes naturally through people reading or whether she really does have this sixth sense as a seer. But she and Graydon actually have a past, and you'll probably hear about that when I'm in the prequels. But he does actually really trust her judgment. And for someone like Graydon, who is really not into the hippy dippy side of life, to have some faith in her and her abilities, that says that even though she's kind of weird and kind of flaky and kind of out there, there is something really genuine about her. So her and Severin are kind of a cool relationship just between a dragon and a human anyway. And then there's Taos and Jira, who you will meet much later in book three. And I can't tell you a lot about it, but Taos is a trans woman, and Jira uses they them pronouns. You can interpret that however you want, but Taos is the Empress of Zaston, and Jira is her consort. And they have some fantastic dynamic there too. And I really love the backbone to them. They really give the country a drive and a heartbeat. And when you meet them, you kind of really can't help but falling in love with them as a couple. And even though they're not openly romantic, they don't do a lot of, kissy demonstration stuff. You get this feeling that they are ride or die for each other, and they always have been, and that's really brilliant, and I like that, especially because Taos is such an ancient character, and then she has been around for a very long time. She's had a very unnaturally long lifespan for a human, so that should tell you a little bit about her. But I can't give you any more info than that. But I just wanted you to know that that's also an upcoming couple, and I'm really excited for my fans to have that because I just feel like that's another dynamic that just doesn't get enough love. But anyway, those are just a couple of the pairings. And again, I will tell you that those are not written in stone, they're not flexible. If you want to write fan fiction about them, feel free. I don't want you to feel like I'm not going to let you write something because you want to mix and match or do something unusual. Have fun. I really, really want you to be creative and enjoy the world as much as I do. So, anyway, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something and you had as much fun as I did. Thanks.